Okay, let's look at this article. Boom. Here we go, chat. Here we go. Here we go. A Warhammer community article. Listen, on the All Gas No Chill Honest Wargamer review of content, this is going to come up a lot. We're going to review Warcom articles a lot, and they need to buck up their game because the chat ain't messing, right? I got the strong Twitch chat ready. If you're watching this back as a YouTube thug, hit like and subscribe. Don't be a child. Come on, get it on. And if you listen to this as a podcast, stay hydrated. Yes, Big Fish, let's go. Well done, Twitch chat. So, on the 19th of October, and I don't know if Warhammer Rob is in the chat, but if you get me the link to that Uruk list that won 2 weeks ago at the American event, was it Michigan GT that went 4-1 with the Bolt Boys? That would be sweet if you got it. If not, I'll go find it for myself in a second. I think you know the one I mean. Think Uruk army. So this is the article. Think Uruk armies can't shoot. These man-skewer Bolt Boys will make you think again. Right? Will they? Okay, so this is late to the party. This is isn't this just like someone knocking on your one of your mates ringing you and be like, "Have you heard about Bitcoin?" You'd be like, "Yeah, I've heard about Bitcoin. I don't want to occupy Wall Street or have Bitcoin. Get out of my life." That's what I don't want. So the Man-Skewer Bolt Boys are up for pre-order this weekend, although there are tons. Oh, let me see if this is true. Okay, this is the current situation on eBay. £5.30. Whatever this is. 50 quid. This guy's out of their minds. 50 quid. 6 of them for £33. Individual ones. Individual ones. Okay, for £5 each. So about £15 for 3, roughly. Yeah. This guy hoping. Listen, look at these local gaming stores. Please buy our Dominion boxes, please. We don't want them anymore. Yes, thanks, Warhammer Rob. Big love to you. Right, okay. So let's go back to this Warcom site, shall we? And let's look at this. Let's see what they've said. So with these Man-Skewer Bolt Boys on pre-order, which are all over eBay, you don't have long to wait. They offer the Cruel Boys a simple. What they offer the Cruel Boys is simple, as their rather visceral name suggests. You get brutal killing power at range, but can you muster an Uruk army that legitimately specializes in shooting? Yes. You're so late. This is 19th of October. The 19th. We're way past this. As we discussed in another article, the best way you can get the most from your shooting phase is to side with the big yellers. Of course. Not only do their attacks gain extra range, not to mention a cheeky reroll for the first battle round, they can crucially field Bolt Boys as battle line units. We know this. They increase maximum range of 27 inches, so 24 inches plus 3 inches for big yellers. But that's not really what you do. You actually go for this 12 inches. Yeah, you move 5 inches, so that's 17, and your additional 3-inch range. Yeah, it takes you up to 20 inches, because then you double your shots. 2 shots each. This is a great Battletome preview article that they've done for a month after the book is out. When this unit attacks with a Man-Skewer crossbow, use the aim shot missile weapon, or whatever. You move them, basically, and you go for 2 shots. And the reason you do that is any 6s to hit are going to cause 2 mortal wounds. But if you've got a Shaman nearby, you can make them any 5s to hit do 2 mortal wounds, or if you've got Dobby, which is the whatever he's called, the Sloggoth. I think it's the Sloggoth. He basically adds +1 to the mortal wounds, so any 6s will do 3 mortal wounds, and if you use the Shaman, any 5s will do 2 mortal wounds. And then that's why you want as many shots as possible, because you want to roll as many 6s. This is what you're seeing. And then they talked about what it does with the mortal wounds. And this is the Shaman explaining what the Shaman does, and this is what the Sludge-Raker was. Add 1 to the number of mortal wounds caused by the venom-encrusted weapons, right? The issue, I think... Oh, no, ignore this about the mouth. Oh, no, actually, let's just not ignore it. Let's not talk it out. We're here for time, boys. Let's get this together, right? So the Sludge-Raker is great. Add 1 to the number of mortal wounds caused by the venom-encrusted weapons battle trait. So that's the one I was talking about. So any 6s to wound, you can do 3 mortal wounds, right? And then it's the Swamp Caller Shaman. Amazing model. Gorgeous. Absolute 11 out of 10 model. Look at him. He's got so many potions. Like a little... Oh, he looks great anyway. But basically, you can give a little potion to a unit and make them do mortal wounds on 5s. This we already know. That's 1 extra mortal wound, whatever. You can almost hear the forces, right? Range units are rather fragile, so you need to judiciously unleash hell. Grobstruck's Portentous Protagonisting prepares your units for enemy charges. His Mouth of Gork ability improving certain command abilities. If this unit issues a redeploy command, if this unit issues the Unleash Hell command to a Kruleboyz unit, you do not have to subtract 1 from the hit rolls for the attacks made by the unit received the command. But you don't care about that, because you just want to do mortal wounds on 6s. So none of this affects them. And in fact, actually, the Sludge Raker, if you see, add 1 to the number of mortal wounds caused by the venom-encrusted weapons, isn't affected by it. If the unmodified hit roll was a 6, so that isn't affected. And the Shaman ability isn't affected, right? So none of this does anything, right? Like, it's just not relevant. But what about large monsters that are resilient enough to taking off a few wounds? Well, you could use this and try and do 12 more wounds. But you're probably better off taking more Bolt Boys. Because again, they're talking about the fact you could do 12 mortal wounds as long as you roll a 6 to hit with the Beast Killer Killbow, whatever it's called. But this isn't the one that's important. So none of this. So here's a list, right, with 1 Beast Skewer Killbow. And then it's just 6 Bolt Boys, 6 Bolt Boys, 6 Bolt Boys. And then it's just some Hogrop Slitters as Chaff and Gobsprak. But this is the problem with this build. Hey, Wraith UK, thanks for subscribing, and also says Stormcast for the win. The problem with this build is it's been done. Like, we're already done. So over here, this is Jeremy. This is Jeremy who ran this. No, this isn't the one. Sorry. Hold on. Let me go find the right one. Thanks to Rob for finding me the list, talking about Kruleboyz. So this is from the Michigan GT 2 weeks ago. And here it is. Kruleboyz, Big Yellers. So this is built and painted and has already got a 4-1 at the Michigan GT. Like, this is already, not including Seb, who ran it recently at Bobo. I'm sure there are others around the world as well. Gary, who just won an event here at the arena, again with Big Yellow's Bolt Boys. This is already the list, right? This is Snatcher Boss and Sludge Raker Beast, Snatcher Boss and Sludge Raker Beast again, giving out those +1 mortal wound buffs. The Breaker Boss, and also the Snatcher Boss and Sludge Raker is pretty good in the fight as well. Breaker Boss, Swamp Caller Shaman twice, then 20 Gut Rippers, and then you've got 2 lots of Manskewer Bolt Boys, and then 20 shooters, just for your screen. So like some allied-in shooters. And this is a much cooler list. What I like about this is more diverse than the Warhammer community list. Like, this list isn't diverse at all. Or, if anything, it's diverse but bad. And it doesn't, like, look, spam Hobgrot, spam Manskewers, 10 Gut Rippers, and a Kill Boss. Like, this has got double Shaman, a Breaker Boss, which is cool, yeah, double Snatcher Boss, Gut Rippers, some allied-in shooters, and 2 lots of Manskewers. And what's important about this, in my opinion, what's important about this is this just goes to show how unimaginative they are. That they've come to this 2 weeks, 3 weeks after, 4 weeks after the book is out, but they should know this ahead of time. This is the thing that kind of like shocks me a little bit about them producing battle tomes. They should kind of know what the builds are roughly going to be. They should like design a book and be like, right, okay, what's the Gut Ripper build? How are we going to have like quite a few Gut Rippers, buff the Gut Rippers, make it so it's like a thing? Yeah, how are we going to have a bunch of My Brute Trog bosses? Like, what are we doing to make it so there's more of those? Right? How are we having double burb, like double vulture list? Like, what do we do to make a double vulture list and make it so that's fun? They should be trying their hardest to create as many diverse lists as possible when they produce a book. And the reason they should be doing that is because they're trying to sell the models. This is what blows my mind every time we talk about Warhammer. They should be trying to sell us all of the models. They should be trying to build an all-combat Gut Ripper, My Brute Troggoth list with Sludge Rakers and all of that. They should be trying to build that list and make it so that we build it. And they should be doing these community articles. But like, by the way, boys, you missed these little sneaky combinations that you didn't see. And it always makes me think that the player base knows more than the guys putting it together. Like when we get given the product. And it kind of confuses me because surely you want as many different units on the board as possible. And very much like if you go back and watch, I know you guys are watching live, but if you go back and watch the conversation we had about Nuzlocke with Sam, from Sam's video. Sam was just talking about developing diversity. All of us want diverse lists. All of us. That's what we want. We want to play as many different units, as many different play styles, as many different ways as possible. But we just don't want to kick someone's head in because they got a terrible list. Anyway, what's everyone else's thoughts on the Bolt Boy spam? And also, do we really need a whole they announced all of the these guys, all of the Kruleboyz, and then the only way to play them seems to be as a shooting army, a shooting gun line. There's also not a very good shooting gun line. It's an okay shooting gun line. It's strong, but it's not terrifying. In the shooting meta that we have. Even Kurnoth Hunters outrange them. And Kurnoth Hunters will wreck them because they don't have a good save. They just die. Yeah, they're just going to get wrecked unless they're covered in mud so you can't see them. Those are the things. They should have books designed to run X amount of different lists, even if it's a fun control, aggro, and mid-range setup. King Callaghan, that's the key takeaway. They don't even do that when they write their book. All this article shows me is that when they write a book, they don't think about the different lists that they're trying to produce with the rules. They don't write the whole book, write their list at the end of it, and then think, yeah, I'd like it more how do we develop an aggro build in here? We'll throw a sub-faction in that does a thing. We'll add an artifact in that does a thing. We'll throw a spell in that does a thing. We'll give some bonuses to cast on that spell. We'll do a thing. How do we do a more aggro build? What can we do to make it so that those combat units get faster across the board? Because they're going up against eels that are incredibly fast, or they're going up against double moving Maw Crushers, or they're going up against Helon wind chargers, even Slick Blade Seekers, fast things. What are we doing to make it so that those guys can get into combat? And that's what always stresses me out about whenever we do the reviews or we do the other stuff, because I'm so keen for the game. Love it. Can't wait to see it. Love those experiences where you see mad stuff happen. And the more diversity, the better. And I want to see more of it. And hopefully when we highlight these things, we'll see more of it in the future. I'm scared of them putting a little effort into the making of Nurgle. I feel very pessimistic, to be honest, says Onio in the chat. I wouldn't be too worried. I think that's meant to be very strong. For years, we've been waiting for the shooting meta, but now it's here. It's terrible. Cities, LRL, Kruleboyz, Lizards. It's pretty bad. Nubgun, this isn't the same problem we face in the stores as such, though. Just letting young kids buy random stuff because it's cool, etc., says Nubgun. They don't really have people in the background clearly writing these articles that can play competitively either, question mark. Nubgun is 100% correct. That's the other thing that they don't have as game designers. I think that's kind of one of the key takeaways. Is that quite often people criticize the game as not being something that's designed to be played at a competitive level, and I think I more and more agree. I think I agree with that quite a bit, even as someone who covers it in a competitive setting. It's not that I think the player base is trying to shoehorn some sort of narrative game into a competitive game. I just think it's a badly designed competitive game. Doesn't mean it's not really fun, and doesn't mean you can't play at tournaments. Thanks, Davey Smith, for donating 5 gift subscriptions. Hey, man, that's so cool of you. Thanks, dude. I would just always say that the game itself is could just be. I mean, who was it said that? That's the one. That's the one that does me. Was it King Callaghan? They should have books designed to run X amount of different lists, even if it's a fun control, aggro, and mid-range setup. Dude, yeah, I'll be at Heartlands on Saturday. I'll say hi. David Smith, can't wait. Please do come up and say hello. I would absolutely love that. That to me is so. King Callaghan's hit the nail on the head. How many books do we really think we can go through? And those play it's normally the book is that play style, not the list inside the book. And more list diversity should be what we're trying to look for out of our toys, right? It's not like the game is balanced for casual play either. Probably even worse, to be honest. It's a good point, actually. The more balanced the game is for competitive play, the more fun, surely, and the more easy it'll be for people at casual play. Anyway, that's not to rag on the game. That's more to rag on this article. Yeah, it's more to rag on this part of the content that comes out of Warcom, because you're showing your pants here. This is telling on yourself. This is not telling people that you guys are in charge of your game and you know better than the community. This is the community telling you, yeah, we know. Do better. That's what it is. And I think that's really important to know. Like, it really is. In Total Warhammer 2, official tournaments have custom rules to fix balance mechanics and build issues too. Null, I did not know that. Have you got a link to that, Null? I'd love to look at this. Null, have you got a link to, like, is there a video explainer? Hey, Super Sweeney. Iron Jaws are currently a problem at my scene. Hey, first time chatter. What's going on, Super Sweeney? First time in the chat. Welcome to the crew. Can't speak about Cruel Boys or Bone Splitters, but I'm very happy about the new Iron Jaws book, to be honest. Brad Pitt Lord. Yeah, I agree with you, Brad Pitt Lord. But you're always going to take a Maw Crusher, right? Because you've got the triple shout ability, right? You've got the triple command ability coming out of the Maw Crusher and the Maw Crusher's baller. To be fair, the Iron Jaws book is a little bit more difficult because they don't give you any shooting units. So the Iron Jaws book, they give you no shooting units. So you've got to build less variety. But there are loads of different units in the Cruel Boys book. You've got Hobgrots for like little chaff screens. You've got Bolt Boys. You've got Gut Rippers. You've got some monsters. You've got 2-3 types of monsters. So you've got some real variety to develop at like different lists that do different things. And they're just not there, man. Like, they're just like, lol, take shooters, which is shit, I'm going to say. Like, great, I mean, I'm excited by Bolt Boys. Like, I've got the army. I'm gonna paint it, and I'm just gonna like shoot people all day and have a great time. I think the army, that particular build, is really exciting. I think there's loads of play, loads of excitement. I think you can cover yourself in, you can do sneaky tricks, cover yourself in mud. I think you're gonna roll some big sixes and have a great time. So keen for that particular army. I'm just not keen for that being the only way that army will play in the future.